What is up guys, it's your boy Gunsoww and welcome back to a new video. Fun fact, this video was brought to you by Skillshare, more about it later in the video. First of all, I need to get something out of the way. I still have my Christmas tree up, you just can't see it because I got my boom arm and can't really put my camera in that position anymore. Also, I forgot to put the poll in the last video, I think, so yeah. Anyways, as you read the title, today I'm going to show you guys how to achieve something similar at least to Killstation. Now, before doing this, you need to know a few things. In order to actually sound like Killstation, you need to be able to sing to some extent, or scream, or actually both. But you can kinda cheat with both of them. First of all, we all know about autotune. If you can't scream, as in like metal screaming, you can kinda cheat by using overdrive or some sort of distortion on your vocals to kinda mimic the screaming. It's not gonna be authentic, but it's a starting point. Also, not all of the takes should be the same, as in you need to have some variation in order for it to actually sound good. So you're gonna have like 4 takes doing pretty much the same vocal style, and then a few more takes, you know, rapping like this or singing like this, and then screaming. But if you can't scream, you can just, you know, my bitch, you know, this type of screaming, and then just distort it. So without any further ado, I'm gonna show you the project and then I'm gonna break it down. Now, the instrumental doesn't really count. I didn't really spend that much on it as I spent on the vocals, so yeah, let's start.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery. Oh no, I want you stay with me. I feel so low, please talk to me.
As you can see or hear, it sounds pretty good. The thing is, my voice is quite different from Killstation's voice, and I can't really emulate it. Like, I'm not a vocal impersonator or whatever, but I'm pretty sure this is close enough to the mixing style and the effects because it's pretty clean. Like, besides the distortion, as I said, because I can't scream, you don't really have too many things going on. So as you can see in the mixer, I linked all of the vocals. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, 11 vocal tracks, and the 12th one, it's a reversed vocal track, which you'll see in a minute. And as you can see, if I go over most of them, they all have an EQ and a compressor, you know, minus the pitcher because that's the autotune, because I can't sing. But they're pretty simple. They're really simple when it comes to the mixing. And as you can see, some of them are panned to the left and some to the right, so it sounds like, you know, there are multiple people singing at the same time, and they're, you know, in different places across the room. But the reason why I have all of them linked to one vocal track and not to the mixer, I mean, this vocal track is linked directly to the mixer, is because it's easier to then have a final EQ on all of them. And also I can then send the vocal track to 2 different tracks, which are both reverb and delay. So that way I can control both of them in separate ways. I mean, you don't have to do this specifically, but it helps. Let's listen to most of these separately. The first 4 are probably gonna sound the exact same way, so let's start with this one.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery.
Now, normally when you want to use autotune, you don't want to just use autotune. What I find the best to avoid these artifacts
Feel so low
is by using either Melodyne or Newtone. I actually made a video on Newtone, so you can look it up. So that way you have more control over the notes of the recording, so you can avoid these like really inconsistent parts. And as I said, the first 3 or 4 tracks are pretty much identical.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery. Oh no, I want you stay with me. I feel so low, please talk to me.
All of them have some slight of variation. I tried to sing it in a different way every time, just so it sounds more natural, instead of actually duplicating the vocal track and then just like slightly readjusting the position. So it actually sounds like there's a chorus. And then the next few tracks, pretty much the same thing as well.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see?
Now here comes the distorted vocal track that I told you guys about, and it's gonna sound like this. And throughout this mess of recording, I only used FL plugins minus Vocal Doubler, which is free. But on the distorted vocal, to achieve the distortion, I actually use Blood Overdrive. And if I turn it down, it's gonna sound like this.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery.
You could also use probably Wave Shaper and you know, other free VSTs like Camel Crusher or something if you want to have a more interesting distortion, but this is just to get an idea. And, you know, picture a limiter which acts as a noise gate. It doesn't really do that much. I mean, it does make it a bit more rough, which I kind of like. Then the next one is also some sort of screaming, but it's not distorted, and it's also panned to the right.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery.
I didn't want to have two vocal tracks with overdrive because that would be overkill. And I decided to just leave this as it is, you know, just pitcher and EQ. As you can see, I just EQ'd the lows, and I'm gonna go over the EQ in a minute, but that was it. And then I recorded two lower pitch tracks.
Filled with misery, oh baby, don't you see? I'm falling on my knees, filled with mystery.
They're pretty monotone, and I did throw a pitcher on the second one, but these are like the low parts of the vocal arrangement, I guess. And you're not gonna hear them as monotone when you're playing all of the tracks together, but they do definitely help add some more low mid frequencies, because without them it sounds kind of empty. And then the reversed vocals, what I did was leave all of these on. I turned off the reverb and the delay, and I exported this region. I brought it back in FL, reversed it, I threw in some reverb again, exported it, threw it back in FL, and then reversed it once again. So normally it's gonna sound like this. It kind of has that ghost type of sound to it, like, you know, like speaking in reverse type shit, but it does help with the ambience. And what I did to actually make it sound a bit more natural in the mix was I only have it at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the verse. So that way it's not gonna be overkill, because if you hear it like constantly throughout the track, it's gonna lose its value to some extent. So I'd rather have it at only some points, and it works pretty well. For the mixing, I just EQ'd everything. I threw in a really simple compressor just to normalize the vocals a bit, and then most of these have pretty much the same EQ if you go over them, just low cut and then slightly boosting the highs a bit. And then on the master vocal bus, whatever thingy, I threw in a limiter, as you can see here.
Oh no, I want you to stay with me.
I didn't want to turn down the vocal track itself, so I'd rather actually put a limiter so that way everything stays at, like, I don't know what the peak is right now. It's around -3 decibels. That's perfectly fine for me. And then once again, I threw in another EQ just to actually get rid of all of the bass frequencies and have it extra crisp. Because if you listen to his tracks, you're rarely gonna hear some low frequencies in his voice. Also, his tracks have a lot of gritty ass 808s, so having, you know, vocals that clash with the 808 isn't that good. So maybe that's another reason for why he takes all of the low frequencies out. And then, as I said, I linked the vocal track to another one, called it Reverb, threw in some reverb, turned down the dry level all the way to 0, so we won't have double the volume basically. Turned the wet level all the way up, tweaked it a little bit so it's a really long delay, and I turned down the track at -9.7 decibels. Then I linked the same track to a new one called Delay, and then this one was a bit tricky. I could have probably done it a bit more efficient, but this is how I did it now. I turned down the dry knob and slightly tweaked the volume knob in the input section, and I automated the mute/solo button, which is this one, and also automated the mixer track knob volume thingy, because if I would have it on, oh no, it also gets really loud, because I automated the mute/solo button, which I needed to automate, and I had the time knob on 8.0, so 8 beats if I'm not mistaken. And that's it. This is pretty much how you achieve the Killstation sound. As I said in the beginning, it really helps if you can actually sing. It really helps if you can scream. Also, if you know how to produce in that specific style, mixing hard ass drums with really soft melodies, that helps. As I said, I didn't really spend that much time on the beat itself. compared to how much I spent on the vocals. But the thing is, I'm not the best when it comes to mixing / mastering vocals or even producing in general. And this is where Skillshare comes in. In case you didn't know, Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 classes in music production, mixing and mastering, music theory, design, marketing, you name it. And with a premium membership, you get unlimited access, so you can join the classes and communities that are right just for you and your goals. And whether you want to fuel your curiosity, creativity, or even career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving in 2019. And as I stated in the previous sponsored videos by Skillshare, you can find so many classes that are right for whatever you need. You want to learn music production? Boom, 1,372 classes. You want to know more about marketing? 4,551 classes. You want to become a graphic designer? Boom, 12,627 results. And this is not all. You can go through all of their categories and you have so many to choose from. And you know what the best part is? Skillshare is super affordable. I'm talking less than $10 a month. That's cheaper than a pack of cigarettes in the US. So now you can join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. But that's gonna do it with this video. Shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And also, there's gonna be a weekend-long discount on my website. It's gonna be 50% off, so go grab stuff for 50% off. If you're gonna be a good boy, I'm probably gonna extend the sale. And I'm gonna release a new loop pack soon, so keep an eye out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys found it useful. Now you can actually leave a suggestion for the next one. Also, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/UntitledGunsoww.